content provided by our bloggers or authors are of their opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, municipality, individual, or anyone or anything.
He's a surgeon. He's a 100-ton boat captain. He's a lieutenant on Seaside Heights Beach Patrol in New Jersey. He's a member of the Coast Guard Auxiliary. He's Dr. Michael Kachmar. Need answers to your medical questions? We have them. Listen in to hear latest on medical topics related to all that and more.
Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Michael Kachmar. This is Scrubbing Up with Dr. Michael Kachmar. Thank you for tuning in today. This is our medical, professional medical political show. And today's date is the, what's today's date, Jeremy? Today, we have Jeremy here. Today's date is March 23rd, the year of our Lord, 2024, AD.
That's right. That's right.
And we have Jeremy here. Let me just get my screen here. Whoop, I'm all out. I just hit my screen, Jeremy. There we go. And something doesn't sound right, so Jeremy. My
no, I know something doesn't sound like I'm low. You're
how's that? Sound better? There
hello,
it is. Yeah,
hello.
now I can hear it.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going live right now.
We've been doing some tune-ups.
Yeah.
So that's what.
So here we have Jeremy in the studio here.
Hey,
Jeremy, say
everybody,
hello.
how you doing?
And
What's up? What's up?
Yes, and I'm Dr. Michael Kachmar. I'm a board-certified reconstructive foot and ankle surgeon. I just had some dental work done, so I'm a little bit kind of funny. Yeah. Jeremy, can you just do me a favor? Put the
like this.
I got some. Yeah, I put some cream on. Yeah. Do me a favor. Just make sure everything's streaming here. There should be a hit that right there. Let's see. So and go down. We're just doing this. See that on the left? Yeah. So they're all streaming. Let me see. Good. We're all streaming. Very good. Right? We're streaming everywhere.
Yeah, it seems like it. Yeah.
We're streaming. So let's see. We're streaming to Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, YouTube, and Instagram. All right, Jeremy. Very good. So you could just hit that then. So we have a great show today. We want to talk about a few things. One thing I wanted to talk about and want to mention, and I have this on my Instagram.
At the start of the show, though.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I need you to explain who you are and what you
do.
Oh,
okay. Well, we did that. But my name is Dr. Michael Kachmar. I'm a board-certified reconstructive foot and ankle surgeon. Yeah. I practice here in New Jersey. I'm on staff at Community Memorial Center, Southern Ocean County Hospital, Jersey Shore Medical Center. Practicing for about 30 years. I'm board certified in reconstructive foot and ankle surgery. Do a lot of hospital surgery. Not now. I just had my shoulder operated on, so I'm coming back from that. Yeah. And Jeremy, can you put up our webpage? So if you want to get a hold of us, we have a really good interactive webpage. It's JerseyShoreFootAndLegCenter.com. It's about the third one down, Jeremy. Jeremy's challenge here is we got to get him new glasses. Yeah. So we do. So it's JerseyShoreFootAndLegCenter.com.
I'm working off of memory.
Right. And I strongly recommend that. So that's JerseyShoreFootAndLegCenter.com. Right. It's really, really impressive. And Jeremy, put up our email. Our email, if you guys want to get a hold of us, it's drkachmar@icloud.com. For people on the podcast, you can't see it, but here, you can see it right here. It's on the screen. It's drkachmar@icloud.com. And we are here in our beautiful studios. Here's a picture of our studios here. So people want to look. There's Jeremy saying hello. I'm over here. And there's a little profile. So yeah, we have a nice studio here. We built it out. And we've been doing this for, Jeremy, I don't know about now. This studio is about at least 2 years old now. We've been on the radio.
It seems so much longer than that.
Yeah, we've been on the radio, WOBM, for probably 2-3 years.
No,
2 years? How long? How long?
Let's just say we've been doing shows for at least 5 years.
Okay.
At least. Yeah, it's got to be.
Okay.
It's got to be.
All right. Well, we got a couple things we're going to talk about today. We bounced around. We got definitely some medicine we want to talk about, but we have to talk about the topical stuff right now that's going on in this country. So, I watched our president of the United States, who's elected by 81 million people.
Right. I'm not one of them.
Are
you one of them?
I'm not saying anything. You can't.
Really?
The FBI. I'm not going to divulge my.
Screw it.
So anyway, I watched the State of the Union address, which was it was very reminiscent of other people who kind of it was like a rant, like hey, it was. I don't know, man. I just got that feeling. It was just yelling, but what I thought was very interesting.
But you know what bothers me about his speeches, right? There's always that that undertoning level of he's with it mentally.
Yeah, I'm not
You
worried about
know?
that. I tell you what my problem is with all of this. When Trump was president, or even Barack Obama, I didn't fear the government as much as I do now. And I can tell you right now, we're all, if they want to make us scared of the government, they have. I see these FBI raids on all these people. I mean, it's just crazy. I tell you what, and it's working. A lot of people are afraid to say things on the internet or do anything. But I want to make.
Yeah, they tippy toe.
Yeah.
Because the YouTube, all that, it's never stopped. Remember, all through
It's better.
all
It's
through-
better. No, it's better.
Yeah, but all through COVID, there was that
They throttle us down.
Big
Don't
Brother.
say. Yeah, they throttle.
Yeah.
We were shut down a couple times. But I just want to make a point about the State of the Union. He did say one thing, and supposedly they rolled back on it. But he said, in response to one of the congresswomen, that about this nursing student who got killed, Lincoln Riley, and Biden responded.
Lincoln
Well,
Riley?
yeah, it's not Lincoln, but it's Lincoln. I think
Lincoln?
it's spelled
Okay.
differently now.
All right.
But she's a nursing student. Her name is Riley, and she was murdered according to Biden. In his, I listened to the speech. He said by illegal alien. He says she was murdered by an illegal alien.
Oh, so that's the official term.
Well, that's what he said. So to me,
All right.
and I've been doing a lot of research, there is a lot of people getting killed and hurt by these illegal or legal immigrants coming into this country. And I think that this is something that's going to make a big determination.
Illegal immigrant. I think that was what he said.
Well, according,
Word for
and
word.
I looked in the, I went onto the government web pages as much as I can, websites, and they're admitting to like 8 to 10 million people have immigrated into the United States within the past 3 years, and questionable vetting of all these people. I don't care if you're right and left. This is crazy. I know we need people in this country. Chuck Schumer said we need maybe like 5 million people. This is not the way to do it. This is not the way to do it. This is crazy.
When they're trucking them off and flying them off to undisclosed locations all across the country, that's too many.
Yeah, there's a lot of well, supposedly there's a lot of they call them special aliens, special alien status.
Yeah.
And these people are like the bad hombres. And I don't know how many are here. I tell you right now, the American public are just starting to get aware of this. This has been going on. If you watch Steve Bannon War Room, there's another one. There's another YouTube page called Law and Border instead of Law and Order, Law and Border. And
I've seen that.
yeah, I think his name is Barquam. I mean, they've been talking about this for the past 3 years. It's been building up. So it's nothing new. And yeah, they've been, supposedly the federal government, they admitted that they take people from South America and fly them right into the United States, not even through the border. There's a lot of
Well,
controversy.
they did the same thing with Nazis after
but
World War II.
Well, they're saying, yeah, they did, actually. They did. They're saying, but that's a different story. But they're saying here now that, I was reading this one article.
No, but it shows you what's wrong is wrong.
Yeah, well, listen, back, if you go look at what happened after World War II, if you really want to get into that, we hired a lot of Nazis for a lot of different reasons.
That's how we got to the moon.
Because they had a lot of information about Russia, and when the Cold War started to turn real cold, your enemy is your enemy. The enemy of your enemy is your friend.
Is your friend.
And so, we sided with a lot of the German people, especially when a lot of them Nazis. But getting back to this thing about, so somebody was telling me, one of the, and I don't know how true it is, one of the web pages, one of the YouTube videos, is that they're paying, if you're illegal or legal, it doesn't matter, and you're in New York City and you're pregnant, the child, you'll be able to be put up in a hotel for at least until the child's 6 months. They'll pay everything. You pay your hotel, pay your food, everything. These are illegals now. And, of course, there was a judge not too long ago who, there was an illegal alien, no doubt about it, had a gun. He didn't shoot or anything, but he had it, and he possessed it, and they locked him up. and she said that, well, he has Second Amendment rights. Second Amendment rights. You go to jail for some crime. You don't have no rights. You got some, but I don't think you have a Second Amendment right. You can't be walking around in jail with a gun.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my point is that we're just cuckoo puffs. But I just want to digress and just go and not digress, but get back to what I'm saying is that this is what the President of the United States said that an illegal alien killed this nursing student. So even he admitted it. I don't know if they tried to backwater it, back down on it, but the fact is he said it, and that's something that should be a battle cry in this country. That you're seeing more and more of it, and you could go on the internet. I tell people, go look, go do your own research. In our area here, in New Jersey, New York, the subways in New York, they have to have National Guard. Why did the governor of New York, who's very liberal, very left, called in the National Guard to go to the subways because it's so dangerous down there, so much crime? I'm not making this up. And then the funny thing is, supposedly she said that half of them can't have their long arms. They can't carry their guns. I don't know how long they're going to stay with that. So,
Right.
so I want to go back here. So we're gonna don't go yet, but we're gonna go to the video. So there was this teenage girl. I don't know where her status is, if she died or she's okay. I really didn't go up on it. This is kind of old, but I wanted to make a point. This is a teenage girl in critical condition after brutal assault near Missouri High School.
Pop it up.
And yeah, pop it up for me. And I want to show people this because a lot of people are going crazy over this. So this is pretty brutal here. And let's get the sound down here.
Yeah, and enlarge it if we can.
Oh yeah, here.
Start it over. This is. Oh my God.
Hang on, let me start it over here so we could watch it because this is on national news. So I just want to make a point here. I'm going to pull out. While it's going on, I'm going to comment. Okay, on a couple things. Is my volume up, Jeremy? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Go show my volume. Where's my volume? Go with my volume. Just want to make sure I'm up. No. Just no, Jeremy. We're over here on the side here. It should be a volume thing on the right hand side. Yeah, let me have the thing. Yeah, I'm sorry, Jeremy. I just want to make sure. So we're going to go over this. I mean, let me just stop this for a second. Sorry, guys. We're having a technical difficulty. Jeremy doesn't use this program a lot, so he doesn't know how to really use it. So, but that's okay, Jeremy. Here it is right here.
Oh,
so here it is, okay? So let's just make sure. So we're up on that. We're going to play this over again, guys. So let's go, and we're going to do.
Put the sound level on it a little bit. You see on the screen?
Yeah, we're good. We're good here.
I want to
So
hear
watch
what's
this.
being said.
Oh, you want? I muted it here. I could unmute it here. Here, take this back. So you look here. This black girl is hitting the white girl, but watch this. Let me go before. I know before you go to watch this here. I want to show you something. This is important here because this video, everybody's saying, "Oh, it's black, white." Watch now. It's a white girl, black. There's whites and blacks here. Just want to say, so she goes. Watch this black girl here hit the other black girl. So she's trying to help her. Then a white girl goes after, or another girl goes to her. So this is terrible. Okay, that's bad. But then watch the video. Keep watching the video. There's other black guys fighting other black guys. So it's not just white and black. I mean, it's not white on black on white. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's not a racist thing.
I don't think this is a racist thing.
This was
but
this
there
was
might,
a
this is
rage
listen.
thing.
This is a bunch of high school kids, and
Look at that girl.
I understand.
She is unconscious.
Yeah, she knocked her out.
Yeah, she's probably
Well, I
split
think
her skull.
Again, she went to the hospital. She has brain damage. I apologize for the family.
She has brain damage.
I'm okay. Listen.
I'm sorry.
Just
That
go
was
back to me.
very
Go back.
shocking.
Go back to me. Go back to me, please. Go back to me.
That was very, very shocking.
Let me make a couple points here, okay? With this thing. First of all,
This shingle?
I don't know
metal.
where it's at right now because I haven't reviewed it. But my heart goes out to the family. But I want to make a couple points here, just by looking at this video. I don't know anything about the situation. I don't know anything about the players. I don't know what happened before, and I hesitate to comment. Although look at the video and people go crazy. People looked at the video with George Floyd and made their own assumptions, and it turned out not to be the case.
Yeah, it turned out to be
Now
bullshit.
they're saying that George Floyd really wasn't killed by that cop, that he had a heart attack or died of cardiac disease. It was complicated by, drugs and being held. Anyway, point being is that there was white and black here, and they were fighting each other, okay? And it looked like the black girl went to the defense of the white girl.
Yeah.
That's number one. And I want to make that a point. Number two is these are children. And I know, lock them up, charge them. But, and that girl should be definitely charged, aggravated assault, whatever.
I mean, when you
she
get
needs
down,
to be reformed.
when you get down to slamming the head
Yes,
into the pavement as hard as she was doing,
right.
like you're not. That's like temporary insanity.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. There's a movie I'm going to direct everybody to, and I think you should watch it. It's really good, and there's a book written. It's called Young Savages. It's called The Young Savages, and it's a '60s movies, and it's got Burt Lancaster in it.
Oh.
And they had the problem, same thing back in the '60s, and probably where young kids were killing other young kids. And it's a group of white Italians going after American Puerto Rican, nationalists. And the kid gets stabbed. And the whole thing goes on and on. They, in the beginning, it looks like the white kids, just stabbed the poor Puerto Rican guy. It goes on and on. It's a very complicated story. And what's interesting about it is that it's very similar. Some people wanted to hang these kids. They wanted to give these kids the electric chair. Other people saying they could be rehabilitated. Yeah. And I think what you have to do when you see something like this, the reason why I'm bringing this up, because it brings a lot of different things, especially, from a doctor's standpoint. These are children. They're still, I don't care. They're brutal. And some of them may be mentally ill. Some of them, maybe not. And all of them have potential to be rehabilitated. The girl who, did the slamming, that was, certainly out of bounds, and she needs to be, prosecuted and go somewhere and hopefully be rehabilitated and understand, that what she did is wrong, and maybe, she could be rehabilitated. The other girl, I don't know what's going on. And because you got to have, if you don't have justice, then you have anarchy, and then the next thing you're going to have is vigilantism. And that's going to happen soon in this country.
Vigilantism, yeah. I look on with bated breath. I can't wait to see something like that.
No, you don't want that, Jeremy.
Oh, we don't want that, but it's like you said, the way things are.
I think that
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think that the big thing here is that I'm just going to get rid of this. I think that when you say stuff like that, you have to be careful. But what's going to happen is, forget about what you want. Here's what happened. No justice, you get anarchy. We're starting to get anarchy now in the subways, on the streets.
That was anarchy.
Right. We're getting around here craziness. In New Jersey, people are breaking into houses. While people are in the houses, they're stealing the cars. And if these kids don't get locked up, I think there are. I think the police are, especially in New Jersey, are starting to come around now and go after these kids, because I think there's so many people have been bitch moaning and groaning. And they know, because if they don't do something, you're going to wind up having vigilantism. Somebody's going to get shot and killed, and we don't want that either. I just read where they locked up these group from California. They were older people paying young kids to go steal cars. Kids are 13, 14, 15 years old. Are they bad? I doubt it. Probably a lot of them are just, they're making good money.
Yeah.
It's the adults who they have to lock up. But, of course, it depends on how far the kids go or if they go over the line. But I recommend you watch the movie Young Savages to get understand about young people. This video here, everybody's going crazy. I'm more concerned about the illegals in this country who are bad hombres. That guy who killed the nursing student, he wasn't a young kid. He wasn't a high school kid. He's a bad dude, and he has a record. You got bad dudes in this country now, bad men and women.
Yeah,
they don't care. They their upbringing's been different. When we were getting knocked saying that they're just releasing, they're opening up their prisons and letting all their prisoners run across the border. That's smart. It makes sense.
But this is the proof right here.
Yeah,
this is it.
Yeah,
these are the people that they released, and like Mike said, it's just going to get worse and worse.
Yeah, you can't. They have to be vetted, and I see a lot of drunk driving around here now. I look at the police blotter in the paper and on the news. Yeah. You got they drink, and most of them are all they're Hispanic names. I'm not saying that's the case, but they come from other countries where drink and drive, and they never even drove. A lot of these people I mean, I see them on the beach. They've never been in the ocean. They've never been in the water. They don't speak English. They've never been in. And just to, you know, they have to assimilate. You can't have that many people. I mean, they're putting a stress on, you know, in summer it's going to be the lifeguards. We got to take the hospitals, the schools. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And then the police are being hammered every time. If there's so many more drunk driving, so many house break-ins. So all of this is really stressing the whole system. I don't know what the reason is, you know, whether or not they want votes. They think these people are going to vote. Maybe they're going to buy cell phones and consumer products and
We also
cheap
said
labor.
that
It's cheap
back
labor.
back
Well, it's
when
cheap.
this was happening.
It's cheap labor.
Smuggling in Democratic votes.
Hey, it's cheap labor. And, you know, the dummies in this country, 81 million people who voted for Biden, is this really what you want? Well, I guess maybe the 81 million people are very wealthy elitists who don't have to worry about losing their jobs. But a lot of people are going to lose their jobs because they're going to hire these, you know, illegals or immigrants, whatever you want to call them.
81 million?
No, there's 81 people voted for Biden.
Oh, 81 people.
No, but there's about,
81
they're
million
suggesting,
people,
you know, everybody has different numbers, 60, you know, 8 million, 10 million, 15 million.
People
you know,
crossing.
coming in this country, yeah. There's a significant amount. And, you know, on top of that, we have 120,000 drug overdose deaths last year. You know, we have inflation out the butt. It's just brutal. We have, you know, fentanyl, yeah, crisis.
Rising.
So let's go. I want to go back. So again, you know, we talk about this agenda. I want to just talk about for a little medicine right now. So go back to my video. I just want to throw this out because I think this is pretty funny. So this is an article here, NBC News. So it says Progressive California and Oregon revive the war on drugs aimed fentanyl crisis. The shift towards criminalization in a region that spearheaded reforms comes aimed at a national narrative expanded by conservative media and politicians that paints urban centers a crime-ridden den of despair. So basically, Portland, Oregon. Remember, that's where they had it all closed off. The summer of love, and all that shit. You know, right? Well, their drug addiction is so bad over there.
I think I missed that summer.
California and Oregon. I mean, they're so bad. This is all. You can read this article here. You know, in Portland, Oregon, the war on drugs, once a weapon in the nation's fight against substance abuse and related crimes, is making a comeback on the West Coast. Fueled by increasingly visible signs of homelessness and drug use in Oregon and San Francisco, officials are restoring punitive measures for drug-related offenses aimed at worsening fentanyl crisis. The laws are meant to rein in dangerous street drugs and curb their use on public sidewalks and parks, but advocates say they will only fill jails with people who need treatment. You know, here's the thing, Jeremy. You know, back in the day when we talked about, you know, Reagan's years, remember we said, just say no to drugs.
Yeah.
Well, Biden is just know your drugs.
Yeah.
K-N-O-W. Mm-hmm. And California and all these progressive people, you know, so, oh, no, we got to decriminalize the police. We can't arrest anybody. New Jersey, there's no bail. I mean, unless you're a murderer, I could punch you in the face and you could, you know, 2 hours later, you get arrested. 2 hours later, you're out on your own bail. You don't even have to post any money. Yeah. Go beat somebody else up. So this is what they wanted. And, you know, the funny thing is, again, Trump, Biden, but Trump said this is all going to happen. Go look at his speeches. So you're 81 million people who voted for this. This is what you wanted. And people, and the progressive people in California, Oregon, probably a lot of them moved out of there already. But this is, you know, what you vote for. I don't get it. Why do you vote for things that are so obviously going to happen? Nobody knew. None of these people in California, Oregon realized that if they delegalized or made drugs legal, that more people are going to use it. And when people use drugs, it's a bad outcome. Yeah. There's marijuana right now. We're going to do a show on marijuana. Marijuana, man, it's caused a lot of problems, including atrial fibrillation. But my point is that doesn't everybody play chess? You know, chess. Like, does anybody think more than one day ahead?
Right.
I mean, it's amazing. I think if you ask me what's the big major problem in this country, we don't look forward. We don't think ahead. We don't plan. I mean, a lot of people. I don't know. I can tell you right now, these people living on the street in California, they don't think more than when their next fix is coming.
Yeah, but when we were talking about marijuana when it was originally made, for everybody, we said then that the laws need. you can't just legalize it and not have laws put into place to govern it. And so when we were talking about how kids could smoke it right in front of a police officer,
Yeah.
and he couldn't do anything,
Yeah.
but just make a little note in his pad.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where we didn't plan anything. We just do things, and then we let things explode, and then politicians rush in
And fix
tell
it.
you, "Oh, this is what we got to do."
Yeah. Well, I think that somebody said to me, somebody said to me the other day that they reversed that in New Jersey, where now the cops give them a summons. I'm going to look into that. But you make a good point. You know, in 2008, when we had the housing crisis, you had that two were they senators or congressmen, and you know, they pushed for people to get all kinds of loans. And then when the housing crisis came, Dodd-Frank, that guy Frank, you know, the one who got thrown out, those guys created the problem, and they tried to solve it. I love it. So you get, you know, exactly what you said. Let's go back to my iPad. So on this drug thing, I want to talk about put this back. Go my iPad here. So we have another one here. So a mother charged after her 4-year-old daughter dies from heroin overdose. Now, I think this is People magazine. So this is St. Louis mother has been charged with the death of her 4-year-old daughter. On Saturday, now when was this article written, Jeremy? Let's see. This was done March 18th, so, 2024. So this is just recent, On Saturday, just after 6:20 p.m. local time, St. Louis County Police found 4-year-old unresponsive in her father's home. She was rushed to St. Louis Children's Hospital, where she was pronounced dead. Police said that the primary investigation revealed that she died of a drug overdose as she was exposed to heroin, which was found near the bed where she was, according to police. So the mother admitted to the police to using heroin in the home early on Saturday and said that her severe drug addiction was the likely cause of her daughter's death, as no one else would have brought drugs into the house. So the kid's been living with the father, who had legally custody over her. I guess he had to let the child go see the mother every once in a while. Now she's dead.
Yeah.
So she was charged with first-degree endangering the welfare of a child, resulting in death, and currently being held in $500,000 bond. So you could go back to me, Jeremy. So again, another tragedy. We had a woman here in Lacey Township, which is just below us, about, right from Tom's River here, about 20 miles, 15 miles.
Oh, yeah, we talked about this last week.
Lacey Road, Lacey Township. She was charged with, I guess, murder or a child died.
Yeah.
Fentanyl exposure, either she had pills. I don't know exactly the scenario, but she was charged. So the kids are dying because the parents don't even control their drug, have the stuff all laying around.
Yeah. But I saw a kid being interviewed, and he was freely admitting that he was taking fentanyl, and he was taking this and that.
Well,
the actual. Yeah. And I thought to myself, why?
I know, but listen to this one. I went to a local store here, mom and pop store.
Yeah.
And I had to buy some stuff, and I was talking to the owner, and he's trying to hire people for the summer. He's got one of those businesses where he increases the hire for the summer. Sure. He said he had the 4 people that he just had. He had to fire each one of them. He said the other one was dumber than the other, or dysfunctional, whatever. And he said, this is something I hear all around. The kids out there, the people who want to work, it's bad.
They don't know how to do shit.
And he's thinking, and here's the thing: you have somebody, called about these illegal immigrants. Other than the language barrier, if they're willing to work, so I could see a reason for keeping some of these people because, I see a lot of these people. They're hardworking people. They work hard. They believe in Christ. They're God-fearing, great people. Yeah. Now, I object not to the immigration. I object to the way they did the immigration. My father came over here from Russia. I'm a grandson of an immigrant, And my father and my grandfather worked like dogs. My grandfather worked like a dog, and he was very, patriotic. And my father, was in the war. All his sons, my grandfather's sons all fought in World War II. So it's not that. But so we have multiple problems going on here. We have a population that's just, in bad shape, American citizens. And, you're letting these people in. Maybe these people are smarter than we think. I especially think, like the military and everything. We had to go to war with Russia and we have to have a draft. All of these illegals or legal immigrants, they're going to be drafted, man. They're going to be gone.
When you consider
think about that. You tell me that can't. So maybe
when you consider
that might be the master plan. Maybe it's not votes. Maybe it's not. They need to supply. The only thing is they got to teach them English quick. That's one of the barriers about hiring these people. They don't speak English, and that's the problem. If they could learn quick, but again, what are we going to say, Jeremy? Good.
I was going to say, South Park did an amazing episode this past season about Americans. They don't know how to do shit anymore. They don't know how to change a tire. They don't know how to check their oil. They don't have to add oil to a car. And the episode showed, everybody hiring handymen to do everything. We came out of the 50s. My wife will tell me stories about her grandfather and how he just built things, or he found something on the side of the road, brought it home, repainted it, refurbished it, and whatever. And that's how it was, because men used to be able to do things. It made them frugal. They were, this was where we were. Now, present day, nobody knows how to do anything.
Jeremy, here's the thing. They emasculated man. I can't, if somebody comes in this house right now, bust my front door open, right? Yeah. Goes in the middle of my living room, takes your crap. Mm-hmm. I can't throw him out. I certainly can't shoot him.
Nope.
And he could be crazy, taking the crap and, put it in my face. I could push him away. Now, if he starts beating on me, then maybe I could defend myself.
Maybe.
But if he doesn't have a gun, I could call the police. Who knows when the police are going to get here? Maybe in this area they'll get here quick.
And you're never going to be 100% sure what type of force you could use, even if you wanted to defend yourself.
And I have another post here I'm going to show you where a guy, an older guy, like my age, got one punch and he got killed. So, I can tell you right now, there's a lot of people who are going to pull a gun out in their house. If you come in the house, bust through the door, hey, whether or not you shoot them. But my point is you can't do anything. You hit somebody, or the criminals are bad, but a lot of people are thumbing down because they're scared. And you're right. We don't have to work out. There used to be you had to run a mile to get out of high school or college. But anyway, I just want to. Let's not digress that way. Let's just go back to my video. I want to show another one here. This. I want to stay on this topic of drugs because this is all medical. And New Jersey was before Corona. New Jersey was the epicenter for heroin overdoses. So this is to my heart. So here's a Texas teen who unknowingly took a fentanyl-laced pill, dies a day before his 18th birthday. That shouldn't happen.
Well, you shouldn't be taking pills either.
Well, listen. When you were younger, you didn't smoke. Do stupid shit?
No.
Okay. Well, and you're a good one. You didn't smoke pot or anything like that? Oh.
Not until my late 20s.
Listen, young kids will experiment. I don't criticize. You can't give them that. So here's a 17-year-old from LaPorte, Texas, had died after he unknowingly took a pill laced with fentanyl. He was a high school student, died Friday, a day before his 18th birthday. And he died on March 15th. My birthday is March 15th. Oh. He was went to the hospital, and goes on and on here. It's just so sad. And he was on life support, and they don't really say much about what happened as far as But fentanyl is a systemic opioid that is up to 50 times stronger than heroin and 100 times stronger than morphine. And I'm not so sure that calculates out, but it's a major contributor to fentanyl and non-fatal overdose in the United States. The heroin is, they take the heroin and cook it, but the interesting thing is, everybody used to thought it was the doctors with the opioids, with the they have all these lawsuits, Percocets and all of that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the Percocets are not here anymore, and the doctors aren't prescribing. We still have worse drug overdoses.
Pain pill addiction.
Right, that's
what you're
bullshit.
talking
That
about,
was,
yeah.
blame the doctors. That was the biggest bunch of bullshit going after these. I mean, it was pushed, but
People
still.
took advantage, though.
Yeah, listen, no doubt about it. But people get addicted. I mean, these kids, none of these kids had pills to begin with. But I shouldn't. I want to step back, and you should really evaluate it. Go to CDC. Bottom line is, it's a gateway drug right now. Marijuana, especially heavy duty marijuana. Marijuana is a heavy duty drug, and you could go. CDC calls it a gateway drug. Calls it it causes mental illness. But I just think that
I mean, caffeine is a gateway drug.
Get me out of here. Nah, but that's
yeah, but no, but they will call that technically.
No, well, I think it's more than that. So anyway, I think that we're in a big crisis in this country. So why do we have so much fentanyl? Where's it coming from? And the drugs. It's coming from the border.
Yeah.
When Barack Obama was in, it started to infiltrate into this country because we had a little bit of an open border. Trump got in, he closed the border, the fentanyl went down. Yeah. Also, China manufactures, big manufacturers is fentanyl in China. Trump was having China put a kibosh on it. Of course, now that's, Biden's not doing anything about it. So again, 81 million people who voted for Biden. Biden opened the border. Biden backed off on China, trying to force on them not to make fentanyl. And now you have everybody's, all these drug overdoses on fentanyl. So a direct link, you make the decision for yourselves. Yeah. To me, I see a direct link. And again, I'm not blaming Biden. We voted him in. 81 million people voted him in. I mean, they're saying, okay, it's a legitimate election. Fine then. Then, where's your 81 million people? I hope you guys are happy for what you got now, for what you did to this country. Yeah. Because this is horrible, man. Now, getting back to, it's not just fentanyl. They're making, the crystal methamphetamine. Now they're making that in Mexico, and the raw ingredients are coming from China. Mm-hmm. So, put it all together, and this is what's happening. And, and now, why so many people in the United States doing it, using drugs? Why are they so despondent? That's another whole issue. I mean, you got suicides going up in this country like exponentially. And so it's not a good scenario. I thought, and the other thing too is that I thought Biden was going to unite this country. I don't see that happening either. But anyway, I want to talk about this thing, Jeremy. When you talk about our anarchy, no justice, yeah. And then you get anarchy, and then you're going to get vigilantism. So there's kids breaking into people's homes. There's people in the subway hitting people, assaulting them. And if you look at New Jersey, the laws, if you punch me, start beating on me out in the street, I can't defend myself with supposedly it has to be proportional. So I can't pull out a knife or a gun and shoot you, okay, because you don't have a gun. So basically, it's proportional, equal force. Mm. So, but I understand, I say to myself, well, wait a minute. I've seen many people die with one punch. You get hit, or like that girl in that high school, again, she got her on the ground. She's banging her head on the ground. There was no weapon. Now, if that white girl had a gun, was she in her rights to shoot that other girl or stab her? You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So now, we have to really, it depends on what state you are, but if that girl does not go to jail, then other kids are going to say, I'm going to carry a gun. If you don't have people going to jail for what they're doing and paying a huge penalty, especially for hitting somebody or touching, doing stuff like that, it's going to continue on. They're not going to stop it. And then what's going to happen is now you have anarchy, and then people are going to start taking their own, the matter in their own hair, right? And start doing vigilantes. Now you could go watch the old movies. Bronson.
I'm Batman.
No, what was the one? Lethal Force. What was the one with Bronson? All those movies.
Oh, Death Wish.
Death Wish.
Yeah.
People should go back and watch that.
We got to.
I mean,
there's some of my favorite movies.
I mean, it was on the subway, the same shit. And then he had the one Getz who, unloaded on a bunch of guys in the subway. I don't want to get to that point, but you have the governor of New York calling in the National Guard.
But
then she tells them they can't have their long guns with them.
Yeah.
What happened? So let me ask you this. So if you're a bad guy and you got the National Guard, now if they don't have their long gun, which is, their AR-16 or whatever, AR, whatever they carry, I don't even know if they have a handgun, So you go down there with an AR-15, you could shoot everyone. I mean, I don't stand it, Why don't they? So she doesn't want them to have the guns because it looks terrible. Well, you want the National Guard or not? Yeah. You got the National Guard, you got state police. But how bad does it have to be in the subways to call the National Guard? I've never heard that, never seen that. Even back when before Giuliani got in there, when the place was crazy, But anyway, you have any comment on that or no?
But
Okay.
crime's not up.
Yeah, crime's not up. Okay, so
Well, before we leave this topic, as far as
drugs,
Death Wish goes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every single movie,
Mm-hmm.
his wife and stepdaughter would get raped and murdered.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
By the fourth movie, maybe stop dating.
Yeah, well, it got too
It was
old.
like
They did.
every single.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
his whatever. His girlfriend and her daughter got raped and murdered. In the first movie, they got raped and murdered by before he was famous, Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, it was too much. It was
Yeah.
too much. It was too. Yeah, that was just like Rocky. Rocky. There's too many of them.
Pissed off enough to be a
no.
vigilante unless they raped and murdered your wife and daughter.
No. There was too many of those. There was too many. Just like Rocky, it was too many. So let's go back here.
Oh, but Rocky, I could watch them all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to make a point about what is considered lethal force. This is something because I'm as a doctor. We talk about lethal force. So just go to my iPad, please, John.
Oh yeah.
So this is an interesting here. So New York man punched by tow truck driver killed. So let's see if we can play the video here if it goes on. It's pretty interesting. No, we don't want
You're
this.
going to
No,
what?
this is not what we want. Hang on. Let me go. I'll go back here.
Just X out of the commercial.
Yeah, hang on. It's hard sometimes. Let me just go up here.
Turn the volume off and play it.
No, I'm just gonna talk. So, a fight over a towed car turned deadly in East Flatbush Saturday. This is New York for anybody who don't know that. When a 61-year-old died after being punched, police said. So I want to make a point. 61 years old. The fight started Saturday around 8:45 p.m. on Clarks Avenue near Rockaway Parkway as a 30-year-old tow truck driver attempted to tow this guy's car. Now, I see this all the time. You have these young guys, 20 years old, 30 years old, have no hesitant to punch or beat up an old guy or an old woman.
Yeah.
We would never have done that. And I want to throw that out to you, all you scumbags out there.
Right.
All you scumbags. You know what? I that's why these 6-year-olds, they're going to start carrying guns or knives or something. It's sad, but we would never do that. When I was a kid that young, I would never, ever, even if a guy came after me, I'd like push him back, like listen, old dude, because I know, I hit a guy like that, you could kill him.
There's a line. You don't.
There's a line. There's no more line. There's no more line. Now. So according to family members, Thomas he often parked his Honda minivan at a Shell station, gas station near his apartment on Rockaway Parkway for $10 a day. Saturday night, family members said someone at the gasoline station called the tow truck company to take Thomas's car away. So now Thomas has been doing this for a long time. As far as he's concerned, it's bullshit. Why'd they call a tow truck? He doesn't understand it. Think about his mindset now, right? Yeah. Been parking there, no problem, $10. The 30-year-old punched Thomas in the face, causing him to fall on the ground, according to the police and surveillance video. He was rushed to an area hospital and pronounced dead shortly after. The tow truck driver, identified as 30-year-old, Cleavon Johnson, was taken into custody. He's been charged with assault. What about murder? Assault. That's assault. The gas owner. He says, I want Allie, the gas station owner, to be arrested, and the man who hit my fiancée to be arrested, grieving fiancée of the man killed by the tow truck.
I mean, I know you.
Thomas was a father, grandfather, and well-known community member in East Flashbook. His family said, I want this gas station shut down. It shouldn't exist anymore. They go on and on. And, lives to be lost. Family set up memorial. Employees, again, did not employees at the gas station said they are so upset about the death. I'm going reading here. And the guy was like a local there. I saw the video, heartbreaking, and goes on and on. So I don't. You look at. I always like looking at some of the view to comments here.
Oh, I love looking at that.
And I'm just trying to see. Walk away from a fight. It takes two, but never should be violent. Walk away. Call cops. They'll protect you. They'll protect while your car tow the car. So that's one. So there's one guy that says, "Doc, just get away." And who knows? Maybe the guy did walk away. Maybe the guy was just talking to the guy. So you can't take my car. It says that's not true. They don't have. I wouldn't be surprised if the car owner hit him first. Don't be surprised. See in the back. So this is what happens. Two sides of the story. Maybe he got hit first. But here's the thing. I don't know how tough the 60-year-old is, and there's some tough 60-year-olds. But my point about is, yeah, you want to walk away. You want to de-escalate. No doubt about it. You want to de-escalate all the time. But sometimes you can't de-escalate. And what happens with a guy like, an older guy like me, and I know, and three guys walk up to me and, they're threatening you. We're going to kick your ass if you don't give us money. If, you try to give them money, but, it's dangerous. This is tough stuff. So I think that, like in Florida, you have stand your own ground. So if you're outside and, somebody starts going after you, you don't have a duty to retreat. New Jersey, you have a duty to retreat. And even in your house, you have a duty to retreat. Well, no. In the house, you don't have a duty to retreat, but the force has to be proportional. I know this gets complicated. But my point is that one simple punch could kill somebody. No, in other words, he should be, here's the thing. That truck driver, he shouldn't, even if the guy punched him.
I'm not educated or trained to know what is proportional damage.
Well,
in any given
situation.
If
you carry a gun or a knife, you better, because that's the law. You should.
No, but all right, but we were talking about punches a little earlier ago. Okay, when a punch can kill you, like all right, to the throat, windpipe,
well, you should know that.
Or the nose.
Okay. You're saying
brain.
you don't know. You wouldn't realize a punch could kill somebody.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we're having it on the video. That's why we're talking about it now. I'm trying to educate people.
Yeah, no, I know. But it's just that to hold somebody responsible for killing somebody in that fashion when you're defending yourself, when you're not trained to know what was...
well, we don't know if he was defending. Let's just say he wasn't defending himself. The guy was yelling at him.
But if I don't know the type of force or what's... You could easily punch somebody, think it's innocent, and holy shit, you just pushed his nose into his brain.
Well, I've seen this multiple times where people, I think that what we should do, and this guy should know, is that if you're 30 years old and you're powerful and you're strong, and you hit a 61-year-old guy, you could kill him, or a girl. And I see this all the time. I see very young people care less about the age of the person, and they're going to hit him. And so one of the things we could do is we could talk about it on the internet and say, listen, you could kill somebody by a punch. And I think the laws should be changed too. I mean, in New Jersey, the laws are, if you hit a senior, somebody over 65, like if I hit you, say we're at a bar, restaurant, wherever, and I'm 30, you're 30 years old, I'm 30 years old, and we, I don't know, start arguing, and you push me, and I push you back, and you take a swing at me, and I take a swing, blah, 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 and I get a bloody lip, and you get a bloody lip, cops come. You might get assault charges, or let's just say, you hit me and punch me and I fall down. Nothing happens. It's assault. I don't know. I don't think it's a felony. It's assault, and you got to get a fine. You might have to go to do community work.
What if you pushed somebody? They fell backwards.
Well, that's different.
Cracked their skull
that could
open.
that could be involuntary manslaughter. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a cop. But my point is though, what I'm getting at in New Jersey, if you hit somebody over 65, it's not a simple assault anymore. Now it's a felony, just by the patient's age or the person's age. Yeah. So this truck driver, tow truck, hitting that guy, if it was New Jersey, now you're talking about just for the hitting him is a felony, unless it was self-defense, which I find it hard to believe that 31-year-old is going to be self-defense, a 61-year-old guy. Now this 61-year-old guy might have been chubby, out of shape, no karate expert, You know, he could have blown him over. He might have diabetes, bad heart, you know, thick glasses, goes on and on. You know, I mean, then you could think about it differently, right, Jeremy? Say, whoa, this is bullshit. The guy, the truck driver, you know, goes to the gym every day. He's, you know, martial arts guy, you know, karate expert, you know. They use,
I got a great hypothetical for you.
But so you see what I'm saying? So, you know, it depends on individual.
yeah.
But my point is, what I want to point out is that, you know, just like that girl, the 15-year-old girl, you know, banging a girl's head. I don't think she thought she was going to kill her. I don't think she wanted to kill her. She was raging. But now that girl,
She was raging. She wasn't thinking straight
she
at
may,
all.
right? And maybe the truck driver wasn't. My point is
Maybe
that
he wasn't.
my point is that I'm telling you, if you don't hold these people accountable, okay, then you're going to get on anarchy, right? We talked about, and then you're going to have vigilantes. And you know, more and more this happens, people are going to start trying to defend themselves. You know, and
We need more Jesus in our lives. We need more.
well, I don't know the answer to that, but I want to make sure that
we also need more tolerance in our lives, more kindness in our lives, understanding that if somebody does something to you, it's not an end of the world thing. I mean, you can forgive and forget, turn the other cheek, but nobody does that anymore.
I would say this, Jeremy. I tell you what.
The slightest offense is a death sentence.
I would say this. If you hit somebody, you know, at a restaurant, and I hit somebody first, hit somebody. I saw a guy at McDonald's or something, you know, smack the kid on the counter, you know, on the other side because he didn't get his whatever he wanted, you know. You should be arrested and charged with assault, and it should be a heavy fine or jail. Now, I don't want to be. It doesn't have to be a felony. No, I don't want to ruin your record. But I tell you what, you hit somebody like that, $1,000 fine, and maybe 30 days in jail, and that's it. You know, I mean, an assault. And now, whether or not you take your guns away and everything, my point is though, it should be heavy. You touch somebody, okay? You touch somebody, and that's the first thing you got to start doing. You know, because you know, you could get away with a punch. You know, maybe like that guy is going to get assaulted and maybe nothing. You know, he killed. Oh, like, you know, you get a jury like you. Well, he didn't mean to do it. He didn't know that. That guy, that truck driver, should do some long time.
Yeah, and because it's also potentially deadly as well.
High school students, right? I don't want them to go to jail for the rest of their life.
In the same situation we just described, where somebody got a heavy thing. Now, if one thing was changed in that situation, say the person that was being slapped was chewing gum, and then that gets swallowed and he chokes and dies.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's got to be a hefty cause, because all it takes is one thing. Because you've decided to act violently towards another person, okay? In that choice, you decided for the possibility for murder.
Well,
you do.
Yeah, I think that what you need to do though is they need to be educated in schools. That's saying, listen, you hit somebody, and the laws could be changed. I don't want anybody to go. This young girl here.
Here's an interesting.
She needs to be. You know, to me, she needs. You know, there's going to be. I don't want to ruin her life. You know, she needs to. You know, but she needs to be charged. You know, whatever the jury says, and then she needs to be rehabilitated. You know, and the parents, again, this is the whole thing. Should the parents be? Now, here's the thing. You know, did the parents know that she has this kind of behavior? They just locked up two parents because the kid killed a bunch of people with a gun, and they gave him the gun. They didn't, you know, there was a whole idea that that they knew that he was dangerous. Okay, well, this 15-year-old girl, let's take it the next step too. Let's go get her parents. What are they doing? You know, I'm all about parents. They should have the rights, you know, one way or the other. But you know, it takes a family, a village, and my ultimate goal here is to tell people, listen, you know, even hitting somebody without a gun, without a knife, assaulting somebody could be very dangerous. And, you know, and you shouldn't be hitting people. And if you can't control yourself, I work on the beach all the time. I get people in my face, cursing me out, threatening me. And, you know, you got to key it down. I mean, if they hit me, that's another story. Then, you know, we have a bunch of lifeguards,
Well, that's a good
but
topic.
you need to but there should be ramifications. If you hit somebody and there's no ramifications, if you're sitting there on the beach or wherever, in the bar or on the boardwalk, wherever, and you're giving me a bunch, you're yelling at me for whatever reason, you think I cut you off, or walking on the boardwalk, I walked in front of you, or whatever. I looked at, you think I'm looking at your girlfriend. It could be a million things. What should happen is that you should know in the back of your mind, you hit me, you're going to go to jail. Now, at over 65, it's a felony, and you're going to go to jail. You can go to jail for a long time. But even if it's not, a felony, there should be a heavy fine. You hit somebody, $5,000 fine, 30 days in jail. All right. I mean, I don't want to take your guns away. You don't want to ruin your career. But you got to have a penalty. I don't see why not.
And it might start making people think twice before they act. When the consequences are higher,
right?
For those actions, yeah. Totally.
I mean, you can't. It's got to be, especially in the schools. This stuff.
That girl after the, I get the rage. After the second time she slammed that girl's head down, I would have recoiled in horror at what I was doing.
She was so raging. She was raging. But listen, I give them all a benefit of doubt because they're children.
Right.
And don't, like you watch, I'm telling you should watch the movie, Jeremy, Young Savages. So what's happening is the three, I guess they're Italians, whatever they are, white, were accused of murder of a blind Puerto Rican, at that time was Puerto Rican. And they wanted to give him the electric chair, right? Now, this is before all the evidence came out, because the movie talks about the evidence and what really went on, how it looked in the beginning, how it looked at the end, totally different realities. One perception and one is reality. Perception and reality, they're really far apart. But there's the part where his wife is like, he's all fired up because he's the DA and he wants his boss, who's going to be the mayor, they want these kids executed. That's a good, nice, accolade on their career. Yeah. And so the wife is very liberal. She doesn't believe, she says they're kids, and they have an argument at night. She had a couple of drinks, and she's like, you know what? Why don't you take the picture? Why don't you have a picture while you're pulling the switch for the electric chair? That'd be really good for your career. Why don't you have a picture? And she's, he gets all pissed off at her. He goes, I got to make money for, put food on the table, that kind of stuff. And this is in the 60s. We've been talking about this stuff, and it's when babies kill babies, and you have 15, 16-year-old kids killing 15, 16-year-old kids. It happened in the 60s. It happened in the 50s. I mean, it's if you go look at the wars, like in Cambodia, if you go look at what happened in Cambodia, the killing fields where they killed millions of people, it was mostly, a lot of them were kids. The kids got guns. I mean, the Hitler youth, there was a lot of young kids. You get the children. So my point is that there's two things I'm making my point there, is that these kids don't know what they're doing a lot of times. They're very passionate and corruptible, but also you got to still remember they're kids. And we need to protect them, and we need to try to rehabilitate them. I'm all for rehabilitating children, but my point is that story I bring out is, just to remember, it's not just black white. I think it was just violence for whatever.
I mean, there was only one white person there.
No,
the rest of it was,
no. I
didn't see any other
but
white people.
But there was black on black too.
Oh yeah, that's the thing, because when
they were fighting each other.
When the white girl was concussed, everybody else was just on top of each other.
Right, but the other, there was a black girl trying to help the white girl. But my point is that my point. Again, I don't want to get lost in the.
I would like to know what the lead up was.
Who knows? It doesn't matter to me. It
does to me. It should matter to you.
Why? What's it going to change what we're talking about?
It changes. That's the seed that starts all the destruction.
But Jeremy, that's the point. It's always going to be something. He called me. She said. He said.
No, but you said before that people don't think the same way they did back in the day.
No, they do think the same way. They do think the same way. That's my point. They do think that this has been going on in the 60s. It's been going on in the 50s. It's been going on. People listen. You could villainize somebody. Look, Nazi Germany. They go after the Jews. Go after the Jews.
You don't think in the 50s they had a better sense of what was right and wrong
No.
than they do now.
No, not. Go watch the movie Young Savages. It was made in the '60s.
I know, that's one instance.
Well, but it's portraying what the society
Wait,
at
so
that
you don't-
time.
You don't think it's worse today than it was then?
Worse in what terms? Human nature? No, we still back then we killed, raped, murdered. It's still the same.
As
Ma-
much.
Well, it goes up and down. Right now, we're approaching the 80s, and probably in the 60s in the inner city, it was pretty bad. Go look at the murder rates. But I think that we reached and maybe surpassed the murder rates. Maybe not the murder rates, but no, I don't think it's anything. No, I think we have ups and downs.
You don't think
I think we're at a high valley right now. It's gone down, it goes up. Drug addiction in this country has never been this bad. Never been this bad. Suicides, I don't think has ever been this bad. I have to look at the statistics. But as far as depravity, I mean, come on, Jeremy, go back. Continue it. Just don't end. It just says continue with scrubbing up in Instagram. You hit that one. Depravity. Listen, you have in China, Mao in the 50s. They killed millions and millions and millions of people, tens of millions. Stalin killed 20, 30 million people. Stalin was.
But that's like they're the big guys.
No, but this was people. Now
I'm talking about my neighbor, their neighbor.
Go do research before you say that. No.
In the 50s.
In the 50s. This movie was in the 60s. Yeah, it was listen, you had middle America, but no. You got two things you're saying. It's quantity and quality. The quality, not the quantity. The quality of the the brutalism was there. There was rapes, murders, kids killing kids. Now, the quantity, no, it wasn't as bad. It was probably isolated to the cities. When I did my residency training in Philadelphia, most of the heroin overdoses were poor blacks. Now now you see tons of white. So so the demographics changed, the numbers have changed, but
I think the violence has changed as well.
Maybe it's getting more spread.
There's got to be more young men raping old women in their robes, because I remember a news report about that, and beating them up senseless in the process. Right. I don't see them doing that in 1952.
They did it. Go watch.
As often as now.
Go watch Dragnet. I'm not kidding around. Before we'll talk about this. Go watch Dragnet.
I like Dragnet. Yeah.
Go watch Dragnet and watch the shit that went on. I watched one where
the facts, Mike.
I just watched one not too long ago because I ride my bike when I watch it, where somebody broke into this woman's apartment. Young lady lived by herself. Hog-tied her, robbed her apartment, strangled her. I'm telling you, go watch. I mean, it's been nothing. Nothing has changed as far as the brutality. Maybe it's more numbers. Maybe again, I don't know. I have to look at the statistics. But to say that we haven't evolved, that's the problem. Our technology is greater. But there's still people that are so deprived and so desperate. So no, somebody's hitting my phone up here. Let me see.
I just think that we're more desensitized. Our humor's harsher. It takes more to make us laugh, than it did back then. And with that comes a lot of things. Temperament.
Hey, go. Do me a favor. Go on my comments here. Go comments here. Go up here. Somebody, go up at the top here and hit down comments. Did anybody comment? No. Okay, somebody comments. Somebody was watching us and they said, "Did you kick me off?" I guess he was on Instagram. So anyway, listen. Let's finish this up because I'm just trying to see who's hitting me up here. Hang on a second. And we just kicked me off.
Yeah, I haven't.
So let me make a point. Let's finish up here. So I don't know if anything's any worse. You're talking about numbers, but there's still killing somebody, beating somebody up, raping somebody. They did that. Go watch West Side Story. You remember West Side Story, the original movie? Yeah. I mean, the stuff that went down there. Is there more violence with guns? Look at the 20s with the mobs. The machine gun, Kelly, and all of that. I mean, again, the numbers, I don't know. I mean, the mobs were killing each other left and right. Is there more, young kids? I can tell you right now, I know it's definitely different. And I looked at the statistics. There's way more drug overdoses, way more. and it's the demographics are all across white people, black people, rich, poor. It's brutal. It's 120 and climbing. That's a tragedy. It's been going on for years. So that's number one. I know that for sure. Suicides are going up, and a lot. And like you talk about gun violence, about 60% of your gun violence are self-inflicted gunshot wounds, killing each other, killing themselves. All right. So I definitely know that. The inner city violence, is it any worse? I mean, when I was in Philadelphia, the crack cocaine wars were going on. I mean, it was people were getting shot every night. I mean, I was in the ER. I was treating the people. I was doing ER rotation. Was it worse then than now? I mean, the city. What's really I see is what is new to me is the homeless. People laying on the streets, all doped up, falling over each other. I mean, I had a buddy who was a former state trooper, retired. He was doing some work in Philly, security work. And, I asked him, I said, how dangerous was it? And he goes, it wasn't dangerous at all because, they were so drugged up, they'd fall down. You didn't even have to, he says, I didn't even need a gun. They weren't going to do nothing. So they were like just standing there, It's kind of funny how things, so that's different. That's something that's really unique. The other thing that's different in this country is, people are getting away with murder. We're losing, we're not, what's the word? We don't have bail. You don't have any bail. You don't need jails anymore. You get arrested, I'm telling you, you get released. You get released. You get released to the outside. So we don't have bail where you stay in jail, which I think, is so you got people who are repetitive individuals. You got look at the statistics. How many people are going back and forth into the jail system? And so maybe we should bring back bail and lock them up, but then you got to house them, That costs money. And then, you worry about that stuff. The other thing is so you got the drugs, which is out of control, for sure. You got the homeless, which is an all-time crazy, with the drugs, mental illness. So those are things that I see different, in my opinion. Of course, inflation goes up and down. Back this time frame reminds me of the Carter years, in the 80s. We had interest rates were up to 17%. I mean, my first home mortgage was 10%. And things were, and we had war. We just came off the Vietnam War, so I remember that. So anyway, I think that good or bad, it might be different. And I don't know if you answered your question. I understand where you're coming from, but was there? Yeah, you had what was it called? Mulberry RFD. What was that show? Andy Griffith show.
Andy Griffith.
Middle America. Yeah,
Mayberry.
Mayberry. And it was probably but and it was so maybe there was a heyday. I think it was probably after World War II. Maybe it was our golden era. I don't know,
Who played Barney Fife? I was trying to think of that earlier.
I don't know.
You don't know?
Let me show you one more. I just want to make one more, and we got to get out of here because we're getting over on time.
While you're I wanted to pose a question to you. Now,
give me this.
Earlier when we were talking about what. And I forgot it. Go ahead.
Okay, just want to make one point. So we're at a hot war with Russia. I mean, I think nobody. I mean, we're sending all kinds of stuff to Ukraine. So basically, we're in a war with Russia. We don't have troops on the ground yet, which I hope we're not going to have troops on the ground. But France was just talking about bringing back the draft, and we bring back the draft, we're going to be fighting over there. And these kids in this country are, we'll get drafted, and you say, "Well, I'm not going to go." Well, they'll put you in jail. But I want to make a point here. So all doctors and hospitals in the country, we do billing through electronic billing, right? And there's different companies, but this one big company was hacked into, and this is we're getting back now, but most of us haven't gotten paid for about 2 months. Okay, Jeremy. So we're hemorrhaging money. U.S. health clinics try to stay open after unprecedented cyber attacks. Now these cyber attacks have been going on for now years and years. Hospitals are getting hit. So this is one of these. It's one of these businesses that sends the what do you call it? The bills into the insurers, right? And it was hacked in. Now, some people say China. Some people say maybe Russia. We don't know, but they paid. The company had to pay. They paid $22 million ransom supposedly. So it says, we're hemorrhaging money, says Catherine Rayner, practice manager of the Foot and Ankle Specialty Center in the suburbs of Philadelphia. This will probably be the last week we can keep everybody on full time without having to do something. And this is so it was cyber attack disrupted the computer networks of Change Healthcare, which serve thousands of hospitals, insurers, and pharmacies nationwide. It prevented some insurance payments on prescription drugs from processing. So again, we had to do everything by hand, and we haven't gotten, I don't think we gotten paid yet. So, and it goes on here that word that the private clinics that treat 16,000 patients annually could force to be closed. It's coming back. They're starting to come back. But my point is that, again, I'm talking about the 81 million people who voted for Biden. Thank you. Because if Trump was president, I do not believe, and I'm a pundit, this is my opinion, that we would not be in war with Ukraine. Now, again, maybe the CIA and everybody thinks we should be, and I don't know. Maybe we have to be there. But just if this is part of Ukraine, if this is part of Russia hacking into us, so we're all paying the price. We're all paying. Yeah. We're all paying. And again, I just want somebody to tell me, is it really necessary to be fighting over there? I don't know. It's a political thing, but it's also it's a real thing. It's hurting all of us, and a lot of money's going that way. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out. I don't know what to say about that, but again, my opinion is, and it's just my opinion, if Trump was president, we would probably not be in Ukraine and Israel. We would have had the Abraham Accords, and Israel would have been recognized by Saudi Arabia, and I don't think we'll be in this mess. But anyway, that's my opinion. What was the question you wanted to ask me, Jeremy? If you had a question.
Well, when we were talking about, self-defense and what how do I know what's the appropriate amount of force to use back in protecting myself, right?
Well, it's supposed to be proportional. So if I have fists, you got to use fists. But what if you don't have fists?
What about people potential force? What about that? You don't even know if they can accidentally murder you.
Well, you don't know until they pull the gun out. That's the whole problem.
But here's my question. Okay, now let's talk about this in areas that have Good Samaritan laws. So you see somebody being attacked,
right,
or something like that,
right,
and you're there, and you could run over and assist.
Yeah.
And the law says that if you see something like that, you should. Now I'm responsible.
Well, you don't know. It doesn't say should. You may. You don't have to. No, it's not. It's not when you say should or shall. No, you're not required. Even police officers are not required to save somebody's life, from what I hear.
Really?
Yeah, I hear that the federal law, whatever. No, I mean they don't have to give their life for you. If you're, that's like those cops in Texas. There was a report. They were pretty much exonerated. I don't think you have to, So that makes a good point. If the cops don't have to give their life to protect you, should you protect yourself? It's a hotbed issue because. Now you got a lot.
If you can't even help your neighbor, save your neighbor, the lady next door is getting robbed,
raped, beat. Well,
yeah. You can't run over there, but you hesitate for fear of
Right. Well, you had
recriminations.
My girl there, Carly B. Who I listen to all the time.
Oh yeah.
So,
Cardi B.
Cardi B, is that Cardi B? Cardi B. Yeah, whatever. I like the one. Only like
You're
the one
so close to her, you call her Carly.
Yeah.
Just
I like the one song that super bass or whatever. That's probably not even the right one. But anyway, so she said there's no reason why somebody should ever get shot if they're not armed. So she said that on a tweet, and somebody said, "Well, what happens if some guy breaks in your house, starts raping you, beating the crap out of you, and raping you? Should you have the ability to shoot him? He doesn't have, he doesn't have a gun. He's just, So there's a question, What if somebody throws
well, I don't know.
What if somebody?
I pack two guns.
No. What happens if you're in your house, and somebody starts throwing Molotov cocktails, burn your house down, and you're going to die. Can you shoot them?
Did I let them in?
Yeah, you could go on and on with this, but having said that, though. Yeah. It's an interesting thing. What could be done and what can't be done. We talked about that, but I just want to make people aware that I think they better start changing the laws because if you hit somebody, that is not just simple assault anymore. We should start, and I don't want to put a felony, but there should be, big fines and maybe 30 days in jail where, because that's, a lot of people have to stop that. I mean, with a gun and a knife, yeah, you have to be proportional.
And maybe then the punishment will fit the crimes.
I don't know the answer to all of this, but the more there's a lot of bad hombres out there. There's people who will kill you. And I don't know the answer. I know, like, I have some friends who say, well, I'd rather be judged by 6 than carried by 12, the old, judged by 12 but carried by 6, excuse me. So they rather, take their chance with a jury than be, dead. Which, I mean, you don't want everybody shooting up everything either. There's people who shouldn't have guns, I mean, I know people who, they're just too emotional, they wind up, they get cut off on the road and they're going to shoot somebody. I see that in Philadelphia. I was driving back on the Schuylkill Expressway, and it was this big, about 3-4 cars up from me. The guys pull over, and I couldn't go anywhere. They blocked the road. They shot each other. One guy got killed. They both had suits on. One guy dies, and the other guy, his life is ruined for over stupid, road rage. So you got to be careful about that. In fact, the superintendent of police in New Jersey said that. He goes, one of the things I worry about people carrying guns, because they you carry a gun now in New Jersey. It's you get a carry permit. Is that he's afraid that you're going to have these road rages. And there's a lot of road rage stuff that goes on, So you're in your car, you're carrying a gun, you cut somebody off or they cut you off, whatever, and they come out of the car, they got a crowbar, and they start banging on your car. Are you going to shoot them? You really, if you're just hitting the windows or hitting, you shouldn't, but, you could if you get scared. What if you're, so I'm saying it gets into a real heavy situation.
I mean,
we could do a whole show on this. We should. I want to go. Yeah, but yeah.
We only showed one instance where you see that girl bashing the other one's head in, right?
Right.
But go on YouTube, guys.
But they're all over the place.
All over.
Right.
I'll watch the ones where they flip out in a fast food place.
Yeah.
That place is wrecked.
So all I'm saying is this: without justice, we'll repeat it again. I'll go. Without justice, you got anarchy. You get you need justice. That's mean the law. Arrest them. Then you have anarchy, and then the next step is vigilantism, which you don't want. Right. And so, hopefully they'll start bringing the police back. Hopefully, and local police. Forget about the FBI and the state. What do you call it? The National Guard. I mean, come on, New York City police. They can handle that. Their hands are tied. What are you going to bring the National Guard and state police? It's friggin', they could take care of it. So
and if they can't handle it,
that's bullshit. No, okay. All right, so listen, Jeremy, thank you. Everybody, listen, if you want to get a hold of us, go to our webpage, and that webpage is JerseyShoreFootAndLegCenter.com. That's JerseyShoreFootAndLegCenter.com. And if you want to email us, go to drkachmar@icloud.com. That's drkachmar@icloud.com. If anybody got knocked off Instagram, sorry about that. That's just our streaming. I think they only allow an hour's worth of streaming.
Right.
And they cut us off. Anyway, have a good time. We'll see you next week. Thank you very much for tuning in. Jeremy, take us out.
All right. Take care, everybody. For more information about Dr. Michael Kachmar, please go to JerseyShoreFootAndLegCenter.com.